Hello, blessed souls. I am the magical medium. Welcome to my spiritual guidance channel. No matter how much light I wanted to put on this reading, it wanted to be dark. And I love it. Because today is one of those days. I live in the Pacific Northwest and the weather is moody as fuck. So we are just using one candle and natural light, however it flows in, however it flows out. This is a deep reading, you guys. Like, you can hear, like, my voice is, I was practicing, vocals earlier, but still it was like, I can, like, feel this, like, energy, like, pulsating through my body. That's really beautiful, really intense. So we're going to do some intense channeling today. Before you are 4 piles. I'm going to point them out to you and talk a little bit about this reading. If you already know which one you want, go straight to the timestamp if you don't want to listen to anything before this. Otherwise, if you want to hear some information from the moon, if the moon is totally talking to us, Lilith is talking to us, a lot is coming through right now for the collective. So if you'd like to stay around for that message, I highly recommend you do. If not, I understand. Go to your pile. You can always come back, right? No matter when you watch this, the message is still the same, even though we are in the waning GIBBOUS in real time. So before you, my friends, are pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. If you are drawn to more than one pile, absolutely, positively go to as many. Sometimes people are like, man, I watched the whole thing, because sometimes, we can find our truth in someone else's story, right? That's why we share so much of ourselves with each other. So as you can see, nothing is covered up. I mean, it's like out there, bold for everyone to see. I'm not going to call them out right now. It's like whatever, it could be the imagery that you're drawn to of the pile. It could be the words. Whatever it is, it could be all of the above. All I can tell you is this reading is so special to me. The Moonology cards, it's interesting. So many times I've tried to use these cards when I'm doing, when I used to, when this was Lula's Labyrinth, and I would do new moon readings and full moon readings. And then I kind of knew last year that Spirit really wanted me to work more intensely with the moon. But the Moonology cards didn't always come to me on those. Like, I wanted them to, right? Like, especially when I first started reading, I wanted everything to be perfect. Oh, wouldn't that be so perfect? I'm going to use the Moonology cards on the new moon and the full moon. Blah, 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 blah. Then yesterday, I was actually pulling cards for myself, and these 4 cards came out. And that's when I realized that it's like all of our medicine is different, because after I looked at them separately, then I went in and kind of tossed them about, and then I heard Spirit say, this is for a reading for the tribe, and I was like, oh, of course it is, of course it is, and then I looked at it, and the cards were different, and they were laid out differently, and then I saw the piles, and I saw your readings, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be so good. I was like, this is gonna be so good, because right now the energy in the waning GIBBOUS is the reflect and release. In real time, we just had the full moon in Cancer, right? Can't make this shit up. I love the Cancer showed up. We had the full moon in Cancer, and we had messages from Spirit. We had an angel number 1515. So far, we don't have any angel numbers. We also gave blessings and thanks to Martin Luther King Jr. for changing the world. And then actually the next day, I did a group talk. It's a private reading called The Long Surrender, and that is actually just for like my intimate tribe of people. You know who you are. It'll be heading your way soon. You probably, actually, by the time you see this, you probably have it already. Yeah, and those of you who are interested, if we are called to, you will come into the group. Just let me know. You can send me some information to themagickalmedium@gmail.com if you are interested in that. It is by donation. So this week, Aquarius season began. And the theme that I got from Spirit for Aquarius season was initiation and disciple. Like, how are we going to show up? Who are we going to be? So, it's interesting because one of our tribe members gifted me this beautiful Moon Phases book this journal, and on the cover of it, it has all these different, cycles of the moon, and then it gives kind of like the energy around the moon. Well, on this one, on the full moon, it says celebration and blessings. But most people, when they do readings, on full moon readings, and I know I did them myself, we talked about release. But when I've been studying the moon phases a little bit more intensely, I understand why they say the celebration and blessings, right? Everything's so bright and light and illuminated. Because even if it's a rough time during a full moon, right? Shit gets fucking like out there. Like it's seen, it's shown, it's illuminated. You can't hide it. So yeah, we're in the release, but actually it's in the waning gibbous that we're in the reflect and release energy before we hit the third quarter moon, which is about transition and forgiveness. So with that being said, look at how dark it got. They said don't I was about to like lighten it up. They're like, don't touch it. I'm like, okay. And it also makes sense too, because if you look to the left, it's like that's the only card, the void of course moon, that is on a dark background. There's a little bit of sparkle on there and a little bit of color, but not really. Ironically, the way it's set up right now, that moon looks like it's glowing. And then to the right, card or pile number 4, we've got, they asked me to put the candle over there. And if you look at this, it's kind of interesting. These energies, they kind of flow together. And look at the moon cycles on them. Pile number 1, we have void of course moon. Pile number 2, third quarter moon, which actually is impending. Then we have the new moon in Cancer, and then the waxing crescent moon. And it's like there's so much happening on these cards. There's so much information that's coming through. So what do you need to reflect and release on? Or what do you need to reflect on? What do you need to release? I misspoke there, right? So I don't feel like there's anything more to say. There's a lot going on. Mercury's still in retrograde. I will say this, that the 2 songs right before this, as I was setting up, I always have my phone on shuffle, and All I Know So Far from Pink came on. And at first I'm like jamming to it, whatever, and I'm singing and I'm like, wailing it out and everything. And then all of a sudden it's like I was listening to the words and I just started bawling my eyes out. So I'm going to put a look in the description box below, but I'm going to put a little link there for you to, maybe you've heard the song a gazillion times, but I'm going to find a link with the song with some lyrics so you can like really understand like what she's saying. Or if you have it, just listen to it, but really look at the lyrics on the book. In the book, it's like, she's like, I'm paraphrasing, but she says something like, when it's bad, when it's all fucked up, when the world blows up, she's like, I'll be with you until the world blows up. And that's what Spirit wants us to feel, that energy. No fear. Don't take on any fear from the collective anymore. It's almost like exactly like you're a disciple. You're in the initiation period. For some of you, you may be brand new to my channel, and thank you so much. Welcome. Make sure to subscribe, like, share these videos, these readings, with your tribe people if you feel like it resonates for you. I know for myself, I worked with many people. I follow and watch readings myself on YouTube. I have my own gurus as well, that I go to, and they evolve and change as well. So sometimes you'll stop watching somebody for a while, and then Spirit, brings you back to them, because we're all at different levels of consciousness. So like whatever I'm, putting down, it's like you may not be aligning with that at the time, or maybe never again, right? Maybe you come back. I don't know. But just the lyrics to that song, it's like she wrote that song for her daughter, because she's like, how am I supposed to explain this world to my child right now? Like, how am I supposed to explain, like, this was not like this when I was growing up? Like, we thought it was bad when we were growing up, She's like, but fuck, like, this place is not the same. This is not, and it's not your mama's revelations in the Bible that we were, a lot of us were force-fed to believe. So I said something recently to another light worker, and they're really profound in their own medicine. But I could tell that they had that aha moment when I said, yeah, I'm like, you can't forget that, like, literally, like in Revelations in the Bible, and I don't know about other religions, but just growing up, I know a lot about the Bible. And it talks about how people will just disappear. People will just like, and they've had movies and books and stuff about that where like the clothes are on the floor and like the people disappear. And I had said to this light worker, I said, I'm starting to understand. I'm like, I don't think it was that literal. I think people took it that literal because that's like the mindset of most people, is that literal mindset of something like, oh, they're going to just disappear, poof. And like, they'll be, their ashes on the floor or whatever, clothes, shoes. But I said to them, I said, I think it's different. What I believe is happening, the revelations that I believe is happening, is that people are just stopping talking to you, or you're stopping talking to them, or you're realizing like you're not on the same path, you're not on the same road. We're starting to feel like, of course I cry sometimes because I miss certain people, but then other times I don't at all. And I just send them love and happiness and light. And because I know deep down that they're exactly where they're supposed to be, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and they're not in alignment right now. And that's all it means. And yeah, people die and you're like, holy shit. I mean, I haven't gone to either one of my real father or my stepfather. I never went to their funerals. It's like I saw them and then it's like now they're just gone. Like I have no, you know what I mean? Like I have no one, I wasn't in my actual biological father, I wasn't invited to. That's a whole story in itself. And then my stepfather, I had stopped talking to my mom and my family literally like the day he died. I knew like I was meant to step away from that. And so I don't know if they did anything or whatever. And so it's interesting to me. I started to realize growing up, it was like, we had a wake. It was like a big ceremony. There was only so many things that happened. Some of the partiers in my family were like, party it up after, the funeral, like have a good time. It's just different, right? Some people, I remember I didn't understand what Sit Shiva was until somebody that I knew that was Jewish, lost somebody that they loved, and I went to support them. I mean, it's different, and celebrated death and life are celebrated so differently all over the world. And Spirit wants you to start looking at the life and death concepts of your own, like the analogies of your own life, right? The analogies of the world, but like placing them into your own life. Like what's working for you, what's not working for you. What do you need to really, really like reflect on? Maybe you don't know yet. Don't make hasty decisions, right? If you don't know what to do nothing. If you're at a crossroads and you're not sure exactly what to do nothing. That is the best way. That means it's time for you to go inward. That means it's time for you to look at self, right? And look at the situation from a higher perspective. As the disciple that you are, the prophet that you are, the light worker, or whatever language or, branding label you want to put on it, it's all the same, right? This is about you seeking your purpose right now. That's all this is about you seeking your purpose, because when you align with your purpose and other people align with their purpose, we have no need to help each other out, lift each other up. Of course, we're going to have bad days and good days where we want to celebrate or we want to cry with someone, of course. But on our everyday today, we are not meant to pull other people down to build ourselves back up. It is our own job. There's a reason for cliches. Happiness really is an inside job. It's all about what self-dialogue are you giving yourself. 2022 is about self-care. Take the time. Work on yourself. Go inward. What do you need to reflect and release? All right. We're going to start with pile number 1. So I'll see you over at your pile, and all of my information is in the description box below. Oh, the last thing is, Spirit said, when you're done watching this reading, if you go and listen to the Pink song, All I Know So Far, the next one, and I'll put a link for that as well, is Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And it's not just about girls or the divine feminine energy. It's just about the song and rocking out, and they want you to dance. Because if you're anything like me, it was like 1 minute I was like, that's all I know so far. I was like trying to cry, but I was just like bawling my eyes out because I'm like, God, this song is so fucking real and so poignant and so what we need right now. It's like the anthem of energy right now. And then Girls Just Want to Have Fun came on because I was like, oh man, no, okay, I need to recruit before I do this reading, And all of a sudden Girls Just Want to Have Fun came on, and I was like, Cyndi Lauper, you fucking awesome. Like, both of their higher selves, right? They're both fucking serious light workers, both of them, Pink and Cyndi Lauper. Like, they are who, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were brought here for a reason, to bring their magic. So were you. What's your magic? What's your dream? Everybody's got a dream. What's your dream? From Pretty One. Okay. All right. I love you guys. I love you so much. I'll see you over at your pile. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, pile number one. My beautiful pile number one. Nothing will come of this situation. Void Course Moon. So I just want you to take a look at it. I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit. Now, it sounds kind of dreary, doesn't it? Nothing will come of this situation. What does that mean? Right? Because we are programmed to automatically go to the fear zone. What Spirit is saying, nothing will come of this situation, could be as simple as just redirecting your thought process, right? It could be as simple as you go and get your favorite ice cream, right? You go out to your favorite ice cream place, right? You get an ice cream cone, you start licking it, and it falls off. And you're like, what the fuck? If you go to that, nothing good will come of that, right? Because your energy is already, bam. Instead of going, hey, like picking it up with some napkins or whatever and saying, I barely took 2 licks and it fell off. I mean, I got a powerful tongue and all, but you know what I mean? Like making light of the situation and the person going, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me get you a new one. Must not have packed that down tight enough into the cone. And also they're saying, this also means you have permission to go get yourself some ice cream. Nothing will come to the situation of, I'm hearing from Spirit, of avoiding certain things about yourself, right? Allow yourself the treats. Allow yourself to feel, to function, to embrace all the fun things in life. I'm getting this, that you're very regimented, very controlled, that you need things to go a certain way, or if they don't, and I'm not saying this is all of you, right? But I am hearing this kind of like bratty, and some of you, that may not even be who you are, but maybe that's what you're going through right now. Because you're in a, here we go, let me go here. Because you're in a dark place. It's called shadow. And it's fucking beautiful. And you're exactly where you're meant to be. And there's nothing wrong with you. Especially, look at that really bright, bright moon. It almost looks like a super moon, doesn't it? See how it's almost glowing? I have no light on it. But it's almost glowing. Whoever did this artwork is a genius. It says Yasmin Boland on the, so beautiful Yasmin Boland, thank you. But I don't know if they did all the artwork as well. I should know. I should probably study these texts better. But, you know, I don't. All the time. So anyway, a little shout out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love this deck. One of my favorite decks on the planet so far. But do you hear what they're saying? It's like sometimes when the moon is really full, maybe you guys, because what I'm getting from you guys is that you respond to the energy of the moon, which most likely you're a really powerful healer. You're a light worker. If you're on this channel anyway, 9 out of 10, you're a light worker. If not, you're a human, you know, you're also having a human experience, but you know, you came here from another place, another realm to like help support the light workers. You know, it's like one of those things. Either way, you're awesome. We love you. Thank you for being here. But I'm just getting this vibe, a lot of like empathic energy where you guys respond to the energy of the moon. And if you're doing that, I know that was a thing for me too. Spirit saying, stop fighting it because you're fighting who you are. Let the werewolf come out, you know, but just do it in a way that's like, you know, maybe you just, when you can start to feel like you're boiling over, you either excuse yourself or, you know, maybe you have plans with people and you're like, you know what? Tonight's just, I'm telling energetically, I'm trying to work through something right now, because the real friends and the real support system in your life, your real community would totally understand that. I didn't understand that until I started working at this job that led me to this really beautiful, loving, open-minded community that like you could tell them, hey, I can't do this right now, or I can't hold space for you right now, or I can't, you know, where before I was raised like this, what do you mean? What do you mean? You have to be there for me, or you have to be, you said you were going to be there, and this guilt and this pressure and this whatever. But real true friends, Know that nothing will come of this situation. If you come to a party when you're in ball buster mode, nobody wants you there. And there's nothing wrong with that. That means it's time for you. Maybe that time at that place, it just happens to align with the party you wanted to go to. That is when you are meant to stay home. Maybe, smoke some weed, do some shrooms, drink some, wine or whatever it is that you like that's healthy for you. If you feel like that's a healthy outlet for you and not an addiction, then you do that. You play that music. You crank those fucking vinyls as loud as they'll go, You go for a walk. You go for a hike. Maybe you're not that person that needs the destructive rage energy. Maybe you're somebody who's like, I need to go for a run. Or I need to blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, you have to deal with it. Because the avoiding thing or just going along thing is not working out for you. And this says, in a form of astrology known as horary, where an astrological chart is cast according to when the question is asked and decoded, a void of course moon means nothing will come of this matter, or this situation will bear no fruit. This may or may not be good news depending on what you are asking. For example, if you were worried about something, whatever it was, this card can be taken as a sign that there is nothing to worry about. However, if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it's a sign to adjust your expectations or change things so you get a different outcome, right? Remember, the cards can only predict what you are currently creating yourself, and you can change that with both your behavior and your beliefs. So the attunement to this moon is, I trust in my highest good. And even if you want to go and here, let's see if I can get this in here. Let me see if I can, here, see the attunements? This is good. You guys can get a nice little screenshot there. Take a screenshot of that so you can do the homework. So the attunement is, I trust in my highest good. The additional meanings for this card are, the chances of something are diminishing. And I got that from Spirit. Like maybe you started writing a book, or maybe you started working on a song, or, whatever it is. Maybe you like somebody. Maybe you've liked somebody for a really long time, and you can tell they like you too, but they want you to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like they want you to be the one to say, hey, and maybe the chances are diminishing because they've got another suitor, and whatever's meant to be will be, right? In that kind of situation. This isn't like your time's a ticking, but it's also, from Spirit saying, see that little flame coming through over here on the right? From the candle, because they're saying, yeah, well, for some of you it is because they're about to walk. Could be a job too. Maybe somebody gave you a job offer, or gave you time to think about something, and they're saying, if you don't want to do it, don't do it, but don't dangle the line. Most of the time we know in the very first instinct with our gut if that's the right situation for us. So they're saying, listen to your gut. What did your gut tell you? Whatever it was, with the person, with the situation. Then it says something better may be around the corner. Well, that's interesting. I'm a triple Sag and my moon's in Scorpio. So that makes me laugh because that is such a Sagittarian thing. So you may be a Sagittarius or a fire sign, or maybe you're just that person. We're in Aquarius season right now. I love Aquarians because they know how to love hard. They know how to fight. They know how to make up good, right? They also know how to work hard and play hard. So use this Sagittarian, use this Aquarian energy to just kind of go with the flow. Stop trying to control it. Like in the beginning, they're talking about control. Something may be better around the corner. It's like, wow, okay, well, what is it about the situation, the person? Like, what is it that's not making you happy that you feel like you need to go look? Why are you looking on to the next thing that hasn't happened yet? Okay. I can't sit like that anymore. It's hurting my back. So I'll just, hopefully you guys got a good screenshot of that. The next one is, believe that you will get what you need. And that's a hard one too, right? It's hard to just believe. But this is the time where we do need to believe. And I'm going to go a little bit closer. This is the time where we do need to believe. We need to believe in our own magic. Believe in your own magic. And then it says, surrender to the divine. And also ask for help. We have free will here. They are not going to help us unless we ask for it. That is something that is the greatest gift that we've been given. That is the greatest gift that we've been given, is free will. So then it says, take time out, meditate, and contemplate. Exactly. If you don't know what to do nothing. Meditate on it. Talk to spirit. Talk to your guides. Listen with your gut, with your intuition, not with fear, not with pressure or guilt or shame. Trust me, both sides of my family played the shame blame game. I didn't even realize how deep those roots went. And all of us, I mean, obviously it's ancestral because it came from like lineages, right? Like, so who knows? It's like we can blame our siblings, our parents, our grandparents, but it's like we're talking great grandparents, great grandparents. And a lot of them, wherever you live, obviously, it's different. We've all struggled. We all have history. But I know for myself in America, it's like there was so much pressure on my family to, in the lineage of my family and the ancestral line, to procreate, but also like, to work hard. And it was interesting because I feel like when I was growing up, it was about like having our own businesses and whatever. And then that started to change to, you need to listen to the man, you need to listen to the boss, because that's what your boss says, or that's what your teacher tells you. Like, don't question everything. Like, why do you have to ripple the waves? Like, why do you have to do that? Why can't you just fucking blah blah blah? And you're like, because I'm void of course moon, motherfucker, because I'm powerful and I don't want somebody holding me back. So nothing's going to come of this situation of holding yourself back. That is like major key right now I'm getting from spirit. You are so powerful. Do not forget your divine birthright and why you are here and why you came here. So the teaching is, the main definition of a void of course moon is when the moon won't make a major connection with any of the planets until she enters the next sign. The best you can do when you get this card is to chant the Sanskrit words Om Namo Narayani, which means I surrender to the divine. A void of course moon is time to just be. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. I love this. Let's see if there's any more messages for you. I was getting that for pile number 1, spirit. What do they need to reflect and release besides everything we just said? But I was wondering if this was going to be a pick a card or a pick a pile, and then I got the vibe from spirit. This was absolutely going to be a pick a pile. I don't know about every pile, but let's see. Oh, so powerful. Yes, don't let your past hold you back. South Node. Do not let your past hold you back. Yeah, you're not here to be someone's bitch. You're not here to play small. You came here to shake shit up. This isn't your first time. You've been here before. That's why some of you are so frustrated, because you've been here before, and it's almost like you're like, God, I feel like this is like Groundhog Day. Everything's like on repeat. Nothing's getting better. It doesn't matter what we do or say, or I'm just going to let that person do it. Or, you go to this person for a support system. But just remember, all those support systems, they reach their capacity too. And then we need to take turns. So when you're not at full capacity, that's okay to lean, on spirit, and to, watch maybe spiritual things or listen to affirmations or whatever. But honestly, you are your best quote unquote healer. You are the only one who can heal you. And people are realizing that. Why do you think all of this is going on right now, and how they're like, oh, and now you need to get this shot and you need to get this shot? It's like, who do you think is running all of this? The governments and the pharmaceutical companies. They saw that people were starting to heal themselves. They saw that people were like, wait a second, like, this is really just like a flu, a strain of like the flu. They're like, yeah, like this happens all the time. They just don't report stuff because they don't want people to be, afraid and be in a mass hysteria. Some people, it's like that was the way they chose to go, right? Not only that, but we're in the age of Aquarius right now. We are in the 5th dimensional energy, the way the earth was when it started, where the magic that we all possess is that we can heal ourselves. They know that, and they know that people are waking up at an alarming rate, also understanding and knowing that. So they're saying, don't let your past hold you back, because nothing will come of this situation if you do. If you keep living in the past, if you keep going backwards, if you keep, they're like, it's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and 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 over again, and expecting a different result. Some people change, yes. Some people do not. No, they do not. So in this reflect and release, I am going to, I'm going to grab this card. Hold on. Okay. And when I looked down, it was 2923. If that means anything to you guys, you can add them all up together. You can, do the 2923, whether it's angel numbers, anything, numerology. Okay. So it says the south node, like the north node, is a karmic point, but it's opposite to the north node and relates to the past, perhaps even to past lives. Whatever you're going through and whatever you're asking about, there's a chance that age-old programming and conditioning is stopping you from achieving all that you might. Do you feel stuck in something? This card will often come as a sign that the situation or relationship you're asking about has somehow become suffocating, even toxic. It suggests that someone, you even, needs to be released, that there's some kind of addiction going on or an unhealthy attachment that needs to be sorted out. One thing is for sure, when you get this card, you're being challenged to make some changes, even if staying where you are feels easier and safer. And I just heard Spirit say, even if where you are feels easier and safer, does not mean it's the best place for you or actually a safe place for you, because you're not healing. And sometimes we need to take ourselves away from a person, a place, a situation. I mean, I've had jobs where I've done the quote unquote, respectful adult thing, and I gave 2 weeks notice. And I've had jobs where like I had it up to here, where I had threatened to quit many times, or I was just like, if things don't change around here, or if, blah, 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 or I saw underhanding being done, to customers. And I was just like, that's fucked up. I'm not going to be a part of that. There have been jobs where I just walked off. It was not the most mature day or my brightest moment, but at the same time, I knew with every fiber of my being, I could not stay there one more minute, one more day, one more second. I grabbed my shit, I walked the fuck out. When I looked down, it was 3113, right? I'm a 13 baby. Yeah, because I was like, don't fuck with me, man. Like, I love you so much, and I will do whatever. And I've done this with relationships. I've done this with because I will go and go and go and go until I realize nothing is going to change. Nothing's going to come of this situation. So I just got to walk the fuck out, and sometimes we have to do that. And if that's a situation where you're in, then that's what you need to do. Maybe some of you need to walk away, like fully just walk away. You don't have to give anybody an explanation. You could do it any way you need to, and I'm not saying this to charge you up, because I've done it before. I'm doing it to charge you up to let you know that it's possible, that if something needs to change, maybe it's you. And sometimes you staying with that person and enabling that person or that situation, that job, is just giving them permission to walk all over you, or, you know what I mean? It's like they don't care that it's upsetting you or hurting you, right? It's like they're going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do. So why shouldn't you do what's best for you? You don't have to do it in a spiteful, evil way. You can do it in the loving, beautiful, empathetic way that you are, because you're a beautiful soul. Also, if you're so inclined, go and look at the last few readings I did. I just did a Mercury retrograde reading that was talking about our past life stuff. You may want to check that out. The interesting thing is all the piles somehow tied together. Like all of us, that's why, it's interesting how this tribe has like been building like slowly. I've had this channel for like 4 years now, I think. I mean, it was different stuff and whatever, and I've changed, and it's, it's gone through all these different changes and metamorphosis, but I realized like, it really isn't about the numbers. It's about like people understanding like who they are and like what they need to do. And this isn't just like, oh, let me go get a reading. This is like, no, this is people who, if you found your way here onto this channel, like you are here to learn and grow. You're most likely teachers and shamans, quote unquote, prophets. So, it's there, you could have some serious past life shit holding you back, and during this Mercury retrograde is the best time for you to like go back and look at that information. Because when I saw the 4 piles, it was interesting how different they were, but how they had the same similarities. And I was like, man, we must all know each other. Right now there's 243 of us, right? It's like, but as of today, but it's like we must all know each other. And of course there's other people who don't subscribe. They watch this, they don't subscribe, they don't, whatever. I actually just recently noticed that I can see my subscribers, because I never gave a fuck. It's like, it's not about, oh, do you subscribe to me? You're not my friend. Or, who's this person subscribing? It's like, oh, I mean, but when I did look at it, it was so cool to see how many people from all over the world, it's like we're all somehow connected. And maybe we have these past lives together in Egypt and the UK, and I can go on and on. It was a really cool reading. Asia. It was a really powerful reading. So I highly recommend you go check it out. With that being said, the attunement to this moon is I release the past. Additional meanings for this card are: a relationship is karmic and is played out across many lifetimes. So if you have this pull to somebody, you don't know why. You're just like, why do I know you? Why do I feel like I've known you my whole life? It's like, that doesn't mean that they're meant to stay in your life. That just means that you guys, in your soul contracts before you came here, were like, hey, do you think when we get to this crossroads, like, you're going to be here, I'm going to be here, do you think like maybe we can like intertwine, you know, whether that's they're your parent or your boss or your lover or whatever they are, right? I remember one of the first times I looked at my past life stuff, and my biological father and I were lovers in a past life. And I remember thinking like, okay, this is like really disturbing, especially because he had, you know, laid his hands on me inappropriately when he was drunk and not realizing who I was, you know, kind of thing. I'm not making excuses for him, but as I started to dig deeper and look at past life stuff, I'm like, it makes sense. I was the one that would, you know, I missed him. He was a drunk, and he was never home. And so I would hear him come home, and we'd be buddies, and we'd be hang out, and he'd be wasted and making food. I don't even, half the time I don't think he even remembered that we even hung out. That's how drunk he was. How he got the car home and up the driveway is a fucking miracle. But I'm the one that would like crawl into bed with him or crawl in with him on the couch or whatever. You know, when he had no shirt on and was like just wearing pajama pants or whatever. It's like, I started to realize, I'm like, not that I'm blaming myself. It wasn't like that. I just realized that for him, he was kind of passed out, that kind of half energy where he's touching you. Now, if he did anything to my other family and friends and whatever, I don't know. But from my experience, I started to realize that what was happening is that we had this connection in a past life. And so while he was in this kind of like, almost like blacked out state, his energy just sensed my energy and wanted to touch me and try to pull me closer. And I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, don't touch me. I'm like, hey, what the fuck, you know? But it started to make me realize that we're just like, this is like a matrix and like a play or a story, right? I mean, obviously in this world, you know, we don't kiss or have sex with our family members, or you know, things like that, or we don't mess around with our, you know, friends' boyfriends or whatever, in theory, right? But sometimes you have a connection to somebody and you did something fucked up and something that you're not proud of, or something that you're like, I don't even remember doing that, or I didn't really, did I touch him like that? I didn't mean to, you know. There is just so much underpinnings to us, you guys, energetically, and who we are in our souls and our past lives, and everything is brewing to the surface, and the dimensional lines are so blurred. Last night I had this very vivid dream with Brad Pitt, and I cannot tell you how many times I've had dreams with Brad Pitt. It's crazy. And last night we were having this moment where he's like, I don't want to, you know, he's like, no, he's like, what if we, you know, whatever, and we, you know, I don't, and I looked at him and I said, Brad, I do not want to have sex with you. I said, I think of you like my brother. I used to think that I was sexually attracted to you. I'm like, but now I realize, I'm like, no, my sad brother. I'm like, we are like family. We're just kin. I said, I'm just grateful that we have our friendship. And I'm like, oh, sex will never ruin that. I'm like, because we won't allow it. And he's like, you're right. And he's like, all right, let's go. And it was like, we just had this like awesome energy. And I had a lot of really good guy friends like that. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, I had good guy friends that were good looking. And I was, you know, considered to be good looking. So of course people were like, you're cheating. This happened. And I'm like, no. We just have this connection that I can't explain, that I don't know what it is. So if you are having this with people, you're not alone. It's happening to every single person on the planet right now. We don't understand. Why do you think that we're connected with certain people? One of our tribe members, Anna, she lives in the UK, and we FaceTimed over Zoom a few weeks ago. And honestly, it was like I'd known her my whole life. We were just talking and hanging out, and like we had never even like really seen each other face to face, but for years over social media and, you know, through spirit work, we have, you know, connected. But I just know I know her, and I can trust her implicitly, and I don't know how I know that. I just know I can. So don't question, you know, that if something feels off to you, it's off, and the karmic bond might be done. So the South Node is telling you, like, you know, maybe it's pulling you to keep going, and maybe it's telling you to stop. Only you know, because this is a mass reading. If I was doing a one-on-one with you, obviously I'd be like, no, I'm getting this right now for you. But Spirit's saying, no, this is about you. What hit for you while we were having this conversation? When I shared such personal information with you, which is okay, because I've talked about it, right? Because I've been molested, I have been raped, I've been, you know, and not by just, you know, my father, my biological father. I've been verbally raped, you know, by people. You know, my stepfather, sometimes when he was drunk or I looked really pretty, he'd, you know, say how beautiful I was. I'm like, ew, that's gross. I'm like, you're my stepdad or whatever. He's like, but I am a man. I can still see that you're a beautiful woman. Why can't I say that? And it would freak me out because I'm like, you're a dad figure. You shouldn't be allowed to say those things to me. And he was like, I'm not trying to make it sexual. I'm like, well, it feels sexual, you know? And it's like that kind of thing. It's like 3939, by the way, when I look down, if that means anything to you guys. It could also be 1212, if that means anything, or 33, or down to the lowest number of 3. But seriously, like, this is some intense shit right here. This is probably going to go to 2 videos. But if you hear what I'm saying, you know, this is very real what's happening right now. So if you keep avoiding it, nothing's going to come of the situation. Don't let your past hold you back. And past could be 10 minutes ago. I talked about this in the past lives Mercury retrograde reading. Or the past could be, you know, thousands of years ago. It could be on another planet, in another dimension, and another, you know, I started to realize it was so real. Like, Brad and I were like walking through this city, and I was like, I'm lost, dude. I'm like, are we in Vancouver? He's like, yeah, I think we are. And I don't know if we were making a movie or something. It was so weird. But I was in Vancouver, BC. I live in the Pacific Northwest, but my passport expired many moons ago, and so I can't even go to Canada. I'm only like so many hours from the border, but I can't even like go there because I don't have a passport. But in my dream, it was very real, and I didn't know where I was. And Brad and I were both trying to figure out how to get back, and the buses had, you know, stopped, or they were getting close to stopping running or whatever. It was just this weird thing, but it was so real. And then I realized, I'm like, I'm in another dimension. I'm in another dimension. Brad Pitt was still Brad Pitt. I don't know who I was or whatever, but it was like we had known each other for, like, the way he hugged me, he was like, hey, he's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. I don't even know if, like, if I looked like me now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, and then I started to realize, like, maybe I've had these dreams with Brad, but we know each other through multiple dimensions, but we would never, you know, like, he looked like Brad Pitt to me, but who knows? Like, maybe he actually looked like somebody else. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe he saw me and I was a brunette. Like, right now I'm blonde, but, you know, like, maybe I was a brunette and had dark eyes, and but that's how he knows me, because in that lifetime, that's who I am, or that's in that dimension, that's what I look like. It's so multi-layered, you guys. It goes so fucking deep. When I look down, it was 4141, which is also 55, which is 1010, right? No, it would be, anyway, it doesn't matter. So additional meanings for this card, the next one is your attraction to someone may be verging on the obsessive. And I'm hearing, because you're obsessing trying to fix them or change them, and it doesn't, they're not saying that they won't or they can't. They're just saying, like, right now they're not going to. So you can keep in this vicious cycle, or you can take yourself out of it. It's really up to you. Then the last one says, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. My mama used to say that, and it is one of the best things. She's like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Right? I remember watching this one Ellen episode that I was like, she's a bully. I was like, she's such a bully, because she thinks she's funny, but she's funny through bullying. And I think that's programming through coming up as a gay woman in the time frame that she did. But, you know, that's just my 2 cents on that. But it was this one of the episodes where she's quote unquote playing pranks on people, but it was, she allowed all of the people who came to watch the show to go into this room. They were allowed to take one thing for free. There was a plethora of things that say, you know, it's keychains, hats, t-shirts, whatever from the Ellen show, but they could take one thing for free. They could pay for the other things, but they can only take one thing for free. Well, the camera caught 2 women like stacking up on shit. Like, after everybody like looked, you know, left, she's like, you know, hey, blah, blah, blah. She's like, let's get some stuff. Well, Ellen called them out, and in a way, it was like, yeah, she's right. Like, you know, when nobody's watching, there's still someone watching, right? Like, spirit, your higher self, like, your conscious knows like what you did, right? So you can pretend like nobody's watching you, and you can keep doing the same things, or maybe you're doing something you know isn't right for you, or you know is shady for your character. That's not how you really are, right? But you're doing it anyway. Spirit's saying, well, we see you. We always see you. Nothing will come of this situation because it's fucking karmic. So if you're putting bad karma into the world, it's going to come back to you the same way. So now on the flip side of that, right, Ellen was a dick. Like, that's kind of shitty to like call them out. It's one thing if she blocked their faces and then like pulled them aside and said, do you want to be a part of this, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of gross that they probably signed something that said that, you know, they could be on camera because, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, that's kind of, that's not cool. yeah, she's showing the world that's who they really are, but it's not really Ellen's job to show the world who they really are. It's like, that's on them. So it's the same for you. It's not your job to like keep showing somebody who they are. And I'm getting for some of you that it's really unhealthy the way you're doing it too. It's almost like you're better than them. And it's actually making them resent you and feel bad about themselves. And so they're like, but that's not who you are. But that's what's coming of the situation. And nothing good will come of that, right? It's like if we scold our significant other, right? Our significant other is our lover, our best friend, our confidant, all these things. But, it's going to sound really severe, but it's true. It's like nobody wants to fuck their mother. I mean, that's like, even if it is some fantasy or whatever, it's like you don't actually want to do that. It's like, so you don't want to make your partner your mother or your father or all of the above, right? And in the same case, it's like, do you want to be someone's parent? Because all it does is actually changes the dynamics of the relationship, and you're controlling and you're pushing and you're prodding is only going to push them away more. Just like a kid, when the parents like tell them what to do and they're like, I'm not going to listen. I'll tell you, I'll show you, you know what I mean? It's like this inner child thing that is boiling up in this other person. And it doesn't matter if they're older than you. It could be your parent. It could be your child. It doesn't matter. It's like, how are you handling this situation? So the last message is the teaching. The south node is where the moon crosses the ecliptic going south. On the horoscope chart, it shows us what we are likely to become obsessed with, but which will probably do us little or no good. The south node is the karmic astrological point that reminds us of the well-known phrase, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And that is the truth. And those are your messages, my friend. I hope this helped you in any way. All of my information is below in the description box, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, pile number 2. Your angel number is 4619. And I think it's interesting because you got the semicolons in the middle, right? But 4 and 6 is 10, and 1 and 9 is 10. So I feel like you guys are in this, like, adjustments are required. So I get the vibe you guys are at the end of something, like, really profound, and at the beginning of something else. I just got the chills all throughout my body, so that I feel like I'm on the right track there. And let me just tell you that I'm going by natural lighting and this one candle, and the weather's been all over the place. So the last reading was super intense and awesome. So if you're pulled to pile number 1, there's some medicine there for you. If not, yeah, welcome. So adjustments are required. Third quarter moon. I think it's super interesting that right now, as I am, doing this, whenever you watch it's timeless, of course, but in real time, it is in the waning GIBBOUS, which we are in the reflect and release energy of the moon cycle. But the next moon cycle in 1, 2, 3, 4 days is the last quarter moon. Not even. Well, it's on the 4th day, so we're like in between that, right? So like 3 more days until the third quarter moon. And I'm hearing that it's interesting. This was the only card that when I saw it, the first thing I thought of was like a time frame. So for some of you, I'm hearing like, don't sweat it, In fact, if you follow Stargirl, the Practical Witch, she did a shorts. I don't know how to share shorts, but I saw it and I was like, man, I should share this with the tribe because it was really profound. But she had said basically over this Mercury retrograde that it's not just Mercury retrograde. There's some, if you're into astrology, please feel free to comment below what's going on. But it's basically, it's super intense. And she compared it to the last time we were in this energy was when, I don't know if he goes by Tyga, I don't know, but he's a rapper. But the last time he had a concert, he's Kylie Jenner's beau. Baby daddy, and anyway, when he had that concert and there was an explosion, she said that's the last time it was like that. So it's kind of a rocky time. So do not make any, like if adjustments are required in your life, I'm hearing don't just start laying the groundwork, maybe even just in your mind or whatever it is, maybe you want to apply for something. They're saying, maybe get the application together first. But in this Mercury retrograde that we're in right now, there's a lot of intense astrological energy as well. So I would just take it easy. Don't sign any contracts. Don't move. You know, the old adage, you know, like you don't want to do things during a full moon cycle. Well, we're in the middle of the full moon in Cancer and the last quarter moon. We're literally smack dab in the middle of it. So, you know, right now, I would say from now at least until like maybe the 5th of February. Mercury goes direct on the 3rd, but there's always the shadow of it. So if you can hold off till the second week in February is all I'm going to say. You know, because the new moon we're in the Aquarius season, and happy birthday to all my Aquarians. I forgot to say that on the other thing. But the new moon in Aquarius is also on the Chinese New Year, which is the year of the tiger, and that's February 1st. So, you know, there's just this is just another year. We're going to be going through a lot of intense changes and adjustments. And so Spirit is saying, you're going to have to adjust yourself as well. It's interesting. I've been feeling this kind of like, a lot of you must be going through your shadow or doing a lot of shadow work, because I've been feeling a lot of like, you know, that kind of, I'm 3 and I'm a toddler and I won't, because I know now that I have choices and you can't tell me I have to. That's what it feels like. It's actually very, 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 very sweet. It feels like maybe you're dealing with some inner child stuff, and also you're the first pile that this pretty little butterfly. I wondered why they wanted me to have such a big gap between the candle and the card, but now it makes sense. So I want to do it like this because I want you to see the sparklies. I guess you can see it. Sometimes I like to drop it and see where it falls. You know, like maybe that's how you're supposed to see it. Okay, so adjustments are required. Well, look at the butterfly. What a great example, right? It was once a caterpillar that had to go into a cocoon and had to become a butterfly. And so what I feel here, the reason why they wanted me to drop it like that is the adjustments required are like, it's time for you to fly away. I mean, you know, the 3rd quarter moon is about setting intentions. Excuse me, no. The 3rd quarter moon, we're in the reflect and release energy. I'm going back to my moon phases calendar. And the next phase of the 3rd quarter moon, which is your card, is about transition and forgiveness. And even if that transition and forgiveness, hence the butterfly, I love you, Spirit. I love when they do this, you know what I mean? Like, they just put it together. I'm literally the medium. I'm just the go-between. It's fun. But I see what they're saying here. Do you? Right? So during this time period, until the new moon, past the new moon, even down to the 1st quarter moon in February, then they said take action. Because right now, we just came off of the full moon, and we're in the waning GIBBOUS of the reflect and release energy. Then next week we'll be in it. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but next week is still for you. You know what I mean? No matter what, it's just we're channeling this moon energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be exactly in it. Okay, and then in the 3rd quarter moon we'll be in the transition and forgiveness phase. Then we'll go to the waning crescent, which is about rest and restore. Then we go to the new moon, which is new beginnings. And you're staying in that rest and restore period while we're in the waxing crescent, which is setting intentions after the new moon, and then taking action on the 1st quarter moon. So whenever you watch this, don't take action on whatever this is, because it's a mass reading. It's different for everybody, but don't take action on this thing until the 1st quarter moon and after. But if you are watching this in real time, the Aquarius energy is really potent this year. It's like the vibes I've been getting from the astrologers and other readings that I've watched is that, you know, it's interesting. I feel energy before I like watch something, and then they just affirm what I'm feeling. And then I'm like, cool, that's how I know I'm on the right track. You know, I kind of channel that energy on my own in meditation. And then when I'm like, I don't know, this isn't happening yet, or this isn't, then I'll watch a reading or watch an astrologer, and I'll be like, oh, okay, because, you know, Mercury's in retrograde, or this is happening right now, or blah, blah, blah. And it makes a big difference. And they're saying, if you think it doesn't make a big difference, that is where you need to adjust your thinking. You need to look at the moon cycles and astrology. Maybe you're new to all this. Maybe you're brand new to this channel. You know, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. We have an awesome tribe here of support that, you know, if I don't get to your questions, definitely they will. You know, we look out for each other. We watch out for each other in this tribe. You know, there's a lot of power in numbers, and it doesn't have to be 500,000 to make a difference, right? So right now, for you guys, it's about sitting tight. It's about sitting tight, and I'm going to get the meaning from the card. Hold on. Sit tight. Okay, so in this book, there's a really cool section that talks about like the 8 main moon phases and like certain keywords. And when I was looking for your card, it like popped out at me. And so Spirit wants me to share this with you. So the 3rd quarter moon, the keywords are reevaluate, balance, and trust. So I'm going to leave that there for, you know, whatever hit, whatever dinged, whatever pinged for you there. Okay, so let me put my glasses on. 3rd quarter moon, adjustments are required. Think of yourself as a vessel that has been filled more and more over the past few weeks. Some of what has come your way may have been wonderful, but there is also a lot of negativity, and you need to let go of this. Whatever situation you're asking about now, be honest about whether there are toxic emotions involved, which you need to release into the ethers. This card also comes with the promise that all is not lost. However, there are changes or adjustments required before you will get to where you want to be. A change of course is forecast now, that recent events have been understood and acted upon. There may also be a quote-unquote crisis now, which will remind you what you want and what it's time to let go of. So pay attention. Woo! The attunement to the moon is, I am re-evaluating the situation. The additional meanings for this card, it says your life may be out of balance and this may be causing your issues. It may be time to hatch a whole new plan. Something new and exciting is around the corner. That was the second one. And the third one is trust may be required to move the situation forward. So I'm hearing with you guys, right away it felt like a work thing, like, you know, because you were raised to believe that if it's too good to be true, it probably is. That is true in certain situations, if it's super easy, right? Like say you're somebody who just came into your gifts and, you know, you've never even picked up a crystal. You've never, you know, you always kind of sense things. You always kind of know things, but you have voices in your head that you listen to. And sometimes the voices help you and sometimes they quote unquote not help you, but they're helping you, right? Because you learn a lesson, because that was the choice you made, but it was a really rough lesson, but now you'll know better. You learn that in this lifetime, in this earth school, in this matrix. You can just check that one off your list. You know, maybe it was a karmic thing, who knows? But look at how it just says, it almost looks like investments, because it says ments are required. It's like, I just see required moon. That's interesting. You know what I mean? Because like the sunlight is like almost like eating away at the card. Also, I'm feeling like this almost feels like a darkness, and like the light is like, ooh, like the light is coming in. You know what I mean? Do you see that? Do you feel that too? It's like the light is coming in. Sorry, I got a little excited. It's like the light is coming in and they're saying, it's okay, you're just coming out of a period of darkness. And, you know, for some of you, you've been doing some light work and spirit work, and they're really proud of you, and they want you to see yourself as this beautiful, sparkly butterfly, because some of you, you know, you've always been this super light, fairy-like energy, and you've just been in shadow for a long time. You've been doing a lot of work, and Spirit is saying it's time to slowly come out of it. Adjustments are required. But during this 3 weeks that they want everybody to kind of take a little breather, slow down a bit, you know, think about what you want to do. Think about what you want to do. From the 3rd quarter moon, which will be in the transition and forgiveness, through the waning crescent, rest and restore, through the new moon of new beginnings, through the waxing crescent of setting intentions, to the 1st quarter moon and taking action. And that amount of time, what adjustments are required? So the teaching is, at the time of the third quarter moon, we know where we have been, but where are we going? The moon is now a half moon and slipping away from us as she catches less and less light, moving towards her full disappearance at the new moon. It's a time of falling away and a time to reevaluate. No matter when you draw this card, the teaching is to release and to trust. Oh, I love this for you guys, because our whole theme today is the reflect and release in the waning gibbous energy. So I just love this. I love this for you guys. You know, it's a really good time. And no matter whether you're in the southern hemisphere, the northern hemisphere, it's like whether you're in winter or summer, I always feel like they both are times of, like, you know, contemplation. We're taking a little more rest, right? In the summertime, especially if it's really hot, you know, you're moving at a slower pace. Oh my gosh, I just was reminded of that scene from Devil Wears Prada when she's like, by all means, please move at a glacial pace or something like that. And there may be people around you that want you to move faster, and they're like, well, fuck them. That's on them. Whether it's friend, family, or boss, say, you know what, this is where I'm at right now. I'm working through some heavy stuff. The get out of jail free card we all have right now is what's happening with this mass deflection of illness on the planet. It's a gift. It's as much of a quote unquote curse as people say it is. And it's also a gift because it's giving us a lot of get out of jail free cards. People are realizing, like, we have emotions. We're not robots. We may be biological robots, our souls live in, but these bodies need tending to. They're not machines. You can't just put in a brand new piece of metal and let it go for 200 years and you know, until it rusts out and you put a new one. It's like, no, we have to constantly tend to our bodies, the inside, the outside. You know, we have to keep ourselves, you know, clean. It doesn't have to be overly clean, but we do have to keep ourselves clean. We feel better when we're clean, most of us. Or when you get to that point where, I don't know about you, because I live in a tiny home out in the middle of nowhere and I work from home. So there are times I go many days, I don't smell or anything. I'm not really doing much. You know, even if I do yoga and stretches, it's like, I'm not like sweating. It's more of like a relaxed energy of a workout. So, you know, but I can get into that too, where I'm like, okay, then I see myself, I'm like, I need a shower. But that can get really comfortable too. And so Spirit's saying, don't get too comfortable in the dirty either. It's okay to get into the darkness. It's okay to seek that out, but you don't need to stay there now. Now you are learning that you can work with that energy 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe a day, and then you move past it. We cannot linger in it. We know that there's something beyond this. There's no fear. They placed fear upon us to make us work harder and flow in this matrix that they created for us. But we're like, you know what? Yeah, that's not the way the earth was. And we've allowed with free will for you to take it to this place. But we're going back to where we were before. So don't buy into it. There's so many conspiracy theories that have been going out right now. There's a really great video that's flown around from last year between Deepak Chopra and Sadhguru. I think I put it in my last full moon in Cancer pick-a-pile reading or pick-a-card reading. You know, but it's out there. The information is out there for you. Don't be fooled. Don't be, you know, whatever. Keep your eyes wide open. Ooh, and here is our next card, which is the full moon in Scorpio. Let me get here. The full moon in Scorpio. It's time to release negativity. And you could be a Scorpio. Maybe you're dealing with a Scorpio. My moon is in Scorpio, so this is really powerful for me as well. But it's time to release negativity. And let me tell you something. This is the honest to God truth, you guys. This has truly been happening for me. I have been working very diligently. I haven't really been talking to a lot of people. I miss you guys a lot. In fact, I just put together a tribe reading because I was really called to do it. But I sent out a tribe reading to, if you're in my tribe, like if you've done one-on-one work with me, then you may have even seen it by now. But I just did a reading for that. And this is one of the things we talked about, is like how much our lives can change when we speak in happy, like good things about ourselves, about others. And I realized I needed to take some time away. I said that in the video. I apologize. I know a lot of you, reached out to me for my birthday, or you've reached out to me for spirit work or whatever. And most of you know by now, if I don't respond, it's because I'm in my own stuff. But I know a lot of you are used to me, like, getting back to you right away. And I just have been pulled to like this, like just go with the flow of the energy of things. So I was like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know what you want. Oh, look at how the sun, we're doing natural lighting today and just that candle. But I am telling you, not that my friends or my family or any of my soul family are negative. What I'm saying is that I've just been trying to stay away from everything and just staying in my stuff. And I know that for some of you, it's not possible. You have roommates or children or bosses. I get that. But when you do have that time to yourself, that time is sacred. It is like Sanskrit, right? Like it is like that powerful old language. Like you're such an old soul. Like you understand this, you know this. Look at how it's highlighting on, look at that. It's highlighting on adjustments are required. So I'm going to go into this full moon in Scorpio because it is really beautiful. And since we looked up the third quarter moon with the adjectives and the keywords, I'm going to do this as well. For here it says the full moon is about results, forgiveness, and gratitude. Yeah, part of releasing the negativity is even when something sucky happens, be like, thank you for that flat tire. Thank you for that mean person in the grocery store. Thank you for it, because in each moment we are given a chance to learn and grow from it. And so not that you're bringing it to you, you're just accepting that it happened and you're moving on. You're not letting it affect how you move forward. That's the thing I've been getting from Spirit recently. When a negative thought comes in or something happens, I really sit with it for a while. I really like meditate on it and ask Spirit, like, what are you trying to say to me? I've been getting messages through dreams, through writing, through doing readings. This last week, I've been really blessed to have time to myself because my partner got a job out of town. And so it was such a good job, he couldn't pass it up. And I was like, you know what, this is perfect. I'm like, thank you so much, Spirit. And it's given me time to really, really be myself again and just get back into my own energy, remember why I'm here. Like those adjustments were required. I needed to have some space to myself. All of a sudden my creativity sparked back up. Everything was, and it was nothing against them, but we came off a really rough 2021. And then at the end of 21, my family where we live, we got hit with a blizzard, which was fun at first over Christmas. Who doesn't want a blizzard? It's like a, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. You got all your good foods, you got all your good shows and movies, and you're like, this is a dream. Yeah, until it's not, until it becomes a ice and hailstorm, then it's icy outside, you can't drive anywhere, you're stuck in your house. And then we had flooding. And I was like, oh my gosh, if we don't, if we don't like have some time apart, like, cause we were just like on top of each other for weeks. It's like, we need that space to breathe. So Spirit is saying, I'm getting from you guys, like when you have a time to yourself, you're still like seeking out other sources, or you're, maybe you're binge watching something, and that's okay. But make sure to take at least 15 minutes, a half an hour, preferably a full hour, to go for a walk outside, to connect with nature. If you cannot do that where you live, then finding a quiet place where you can go to a library, go to a place that it's quiet. Maybe you know of a coffee house locally that it's loud, but it's like that kind of loud that makes you feel comforted, right? It's warm and cozy in there. You got your hot cup of whatever and you're reading a book. But you need to take some time to yourself, because the negativity is building, and you're the kind of person I'm feeling that normally feels a lot of gratitude, a lot of fairy energy, a lot of like, you give. But when you're running on empty, it's like a car, anything, right? When it runs out of gas, it runs out of gas. It could be the most beautiful, expensive car in the world, the coolest car in the world, have the best, fastest engine. But if there's no gas in the tank, guess what? It's not going anywhere. Then it's just a beautiful, pretty, shiny object on the road. So Spirit is saying self-care is the theme of 2022. You have got to take the time now, because releasing the negativity will really, really help. So it says, if you've been feeling paranoid and acting weird, take this card as a very direct message from the cosmos to stop it. Worrying yourself is pointless. It's time to release any negativity that you have around the situation you're asking about. If someone has been unkind to you, perhaps it's time for you to release them. This card heralds an emotionally intense time, since both the full moon and Scorpio themselves are both extremely intense, right? They're also both water energy, right? Scorpio's a water sign. The moon is water energy. So flow, cry, get that shit out. Release. If you need to release the negativity, find a song. If you didn't watch the beginning message for the collective at the beginning of this, I highly recommend you do. If not, at least look at the description box below. Spirit, right before I was setting this up, we listened to Pink and Cyndi Lauper. And the one was like, you know, I just cried my eyes out because Pink was right. It's like, you know, what was the title, Spirit? I just dropped it. That's all I know so far, right? So if you're feeling stressed and angry, they're like, this isn't you. It's just a dark shadow that needs to be released. Like, let go of that negativity. You know, if you're not done, then use these next few weeks to really, really harness the Scorpio energy and research the Scorpio energy. I have the full moon, or my moon's in my Scorpio, but I'm a triple Sag. So I've got all fire and then water, right? So look into your chart as well. cafeastrology.com does a lot of free birth charts. You know, research that stuff. Your sun, your moon, your rising, ascending, like all that kind of stuff. All of it makes sense in this house, that house. Like, you know, you don't have to be an astrologer to figure it all out, but it helps you to understand further who you are, because we're all a compilation. You know, I remember one time I had somebody do my chart and she said, wow, man, she's like, you're a triple Sag with your moon's in Scorpio. She's like, I go, I don't know what that means. And she was like, that means I would, she's like, you could fuck some shit up. She's like, that means I would not stand in your way. She's like, but it makes sense. She's like, because you're like this beautiful bubble of energy and you just want to love, 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 give, give, give. But you're also like, you will cut a bitch. And I go, I always called that my Southside Chicago Kelly. And she's like, well, maybe it is. She's like, but like you were born this way, right? Like that's part of who you are. So look further and deeper into your chart, get to know who you are, and spend the next 3 weeks really getting to know who you are this year in self-care. What do you need? You know, times have, that's not times are a changing. Times have changed. Pull yourself into the fifth dimensional energy, because that's where you really live. Don't keep going back to this third dimensional energy, right? Do you notice how the sun has changed now and it's vibrating highly? I'm not doing anything. I'm not changing. I can't make the fucking sun do that. But it's now adjustments are required or in the dark, because they're like, exactly, leave that in the darkness. It's time to release the negativity. So this says, it's time for you to feel all of your feelings. There could be some nastiness in the air when you pull this card. If that's the case, take it as a sign to move away from anyone or anything you feel is toxic. And that's why I cried on that song, because Pink's right. You know, she was just like, that's all I know so far. Like her daughter's probably like, Mom, why is the world so fucked up? She's like, I don't know, man. This place is fucking crazy. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to be a mother to you right now. I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know. I'm angry myself, right? But at the same time, she's like, I'll be with you till the end. So don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't, stay positive, stay happy. Release the negativity. Don't think about it. That's what, and it's hard right now, but we need you, fairies. You know, my Tinkerbells, I'm clapping for you. Come back to life, come back to life, my Tinkerbells. I'll call upon my beautiful angel and spirit, Tina Marie Shepherd, one of my beautiful friends who passed on and loved Tinkerbell. She had Tinkerbell everything. She had even had Tinkerbell car seats, and now I understand why. I mean, my powerful witchy sister, there's so many beautiful, wonderful people out in the world that support us on a regular basis. Go for those people. I was devastated when she died. I was devastated. It came out of left field. I mean, she was, you know, young. She was in her 50s. She was healthy. She took care of herself for the most part. But she still did have her shots of tequila and her beer and her cigarettes, you know. But she grew a garden, and she was a great, great mother and a great grandmother, you know, and I feel her spirit and her energy. So call to her, to that Tinkerbell energy. I am sharing my beautiful friend Tina Marie with you. And, you know, and I love that her last, oh, I'm going to cry because I want you to cry too, right? Because I love that her last name is Shepherd, because it was so fucking perfect. I didn't understand who she was at the time, but now I get it, you know? We all play a part, but some people stay a minute and some stay a lifetime. And you know, it's like the end of Steel Magnolias, where she says, you know, she says, Miss Boleyn, she says, I'm so sorry about Shelby. She goes, but I just feel better knowing that she's up there on my side. And if you need a good tearjerker, watch Steel Magnolias. And I don't care if you've seen it 700 times, watch it again. You know, because you guys need a good cry, and I'm feeling this for you, this emotional moon release. I'll cry for you. You know, bring your blah blah. I wish I knew that song. Bring your light. I'll try and find it. If I can, I'll put it below. It's from, I think it's from Phillips, and Unpack Your Heart, I think it's called, something like that. But so it was like, you know, I heard that song from Pink, and the words just like broke my heart, and I just started crying. And then right after that, Girl Just Want to Have Fun came on, and Cyndi Lauper's energy was just like so playful and fun, and I just wanted to dance. And it has nothing to do with, you know, gender or anything like that. It's just about having fun, about being sparkly, right? The butterfly I wanted to show you. It's about being sparkly. It's about being yourself, letting your fairy fly, dance, cry while you're dancing, laugh and cry, right? Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. Seriously. Because I always said, if you watch Steel Magnolias all the way through and you don't cry, you are dead inside. So, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but it's like something's broken. Like you need to like find, because there's so much pain and suffering, and there's so many phenomenal actors in that movie of all calibers and ages. And it just like shows you like, that's life, man. Life is fucking hard, and people come and people go. You know, maybe you lost a Scorpio, or maybe you need to lose a Scorpio in your life. You know, I lost a very close Scorpio to me, and they're, as far as I know, they're still alive, but I just knew at that point, I don't know if we'll ever come back around. You know, I always pray that we do, but if not, it's like, I know like they gave me so much, and I gave them so much, and we lifted each other up, and we took care of each other. And, you know, but then we reached a point where it was like, you need to go your way and I need to go mine. Because when we become too codependent on each other, or we enable each other too much, you know, it starts to blur the lines of our own healing and our own suffering. And we need both. We need the balance to be able to move forward. So this says, for some, however, this card has a totally different meaning. Your sex life can improve now if you make an effort. Yeah, Scorpios are sexy. And I know, as my moon is Scorpio, I like to, you know, I like to get my groove on. You know what I mean? Like, I love sex. So, you know, maybe you need to change it up in the bedroom with your lover. Maybe you need to change it. Maybe you need to change lovers in general. Like, maybe it's time. Maybe you're somebody who's always dated, you know, this gender, and maybe you want to start with another gender. Maybe you want to be, you know, open, and you just want to be with whoever you're attracted to. You know what I mean? There are no barriers or boundaries when it comes to that, because it's so personal for the individual. So it says, use your magic. You have all you need inside of you to bring your desired result. To attune to the moon, emote. It's all better out than in. Meaning, like, show all of yourself. Don't be afraid to be sparkly. If people can't handle your light, that's their fucking problem. And I say that with as much love and respect as I can. But, you know, I cannot tell you how many times people would tell me I'm too much, I'm too this, I'm too that. You know, I went to a wedding once, and I let she's not my niece, she's my second cousin technically, but she was like a niece in age-wise. But I let her put sparkles on me. I wasn't paying attention. I literally wasn't paying attention until I was walking out the door, and I was like, oh, I'm like, oh my God, this is a day wedding. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I knew it would be a night wedding. Like, she shimmered me good for night, but it was like started out as a day wedding, and it already wasn't like gonna be I didn't feel super comfortable being at this wedding. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to think I did this on purpose. So almost every person, they're like, wow, you're so sparkly. I'm like, I know. I'm like, well, I go, that's what happens when you let an almost 13-year-old, you know, glitter your body for a party. I told her, I go, it's my fault. I told her, I said, make me look beautiful and sparkly, because I was really, really sick at the time. And my skin was like almost gray. So I was trying to deflect how how sick I looked. You know, I was really, really, really sick. But I know I got some sneers and jeers for that. And, you know, looking back on it now, I'm like, why would people care? You know what I mean? If I have fucking glitter on me, who cares? You know, like, that's who I am. Like, I'm a fairy, and I came to the party as myself, you know, so I should dress down or dress different or not be myself to make other people feel better. The bride was a vision. Nothing's going to take away from her. You think fucking sparkles on me are going to take away from the bride? No. So don't hide your sparkle. Don't hide your fairy, your light. We need it now more than ever. So additional meanings for this card are, it's time to move from living fearfully to living joyfully. Yes, you're right to have your suspicions. So if you have been having suspicions about something or someone, you're right to have them, and your intuition is correct. Look at this. The moon is all about intuition. So your intuition, it's like you're like, they're like you're half right, meaning like you're half there, because this is who you really are. You more have like the energy of like the Scorpio, right? Where you're like a full moon and you're bright and you're like, your intuition is telling you, like whatever, but you're only showing half of your knowledge because maybe people are freaked out by it. You're a natural medium, a natural psychic, you're a high priestess, a medicine person, a high priest, a magician, whatever languaging feels good to you, but you're magic and you're special. But you tone it down because it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Well, if you're having suspicions about people, you're right. And they're saying stop trying to make excuses for them or the situation. The next one is grudges are toxic. Let something go. Yes, like that old adage, right? You're drinking the poison and expecting the other person to die. You can't do that. It doesn't work like that. Right? Even with the Scorpio, it's like scorpions are actually very calm creatures, right? But man, you fucking piss them off, they will come at you with their pinchers. They're like, I will fuck, they're like, meh, meh, or pinch, 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 pinch. Like, I will fuck a bitch up. But then at the same time, it's like they'll fight, but it's the stinger that comes in. It's that stinger. And also, are you with somebody, or you have somebody in your life who does stingers to you, right? Like the left-handed compliments. Oh, you look so nice today. Oh my gosh, have you lost weight? Because I can tell that dress fits you really nicely. It's like, yeah, you probably lost weight and it does fit you nicely, but they're acknowledging that they at one point thought you were not in an imagery of what they thought you should be. You know what I mean? Fat, thin, whatever. It's all perception. So again, right? Let that shit go. Let them drink the poison for themselves. I am rubber, you are glue. Whatever bounces off of me sticks to you. That's been like my thing. That's been my thing for a long time. We are in self-care energy for 2022. And the last one is the end of an argument. So if you're with somebody where you have been sparring, right? Your butterfly is sparring with the scorpion. Spirit says, who do you think is going to win that battle? Right? Because even the only way that scorpion is going to get that butterfly is if the butterfly flies right into its trap and flies right into the stinger. And it's like, oh, But if the butterfly and the scorpion are like this, right? Up a high. And the butterfly, I have to stay in screen, but you see what I'm saying? Like, but if the butterfly is high enough above the scorpion, it just would flutter around and it wouldn't matter because the scorpion can only reach so high. And you are the butterfly, and whoever you're dealing with is the scorpion. And they're saying, unless you put yourself right in their pathway, they cannot get you. They can't get you because you're up here. You're up here. And that's where you need to be. They're the negativity that you need to release. And the teaching is the full moon in Scorpio has a sting in its tail. It can herald a vindictive end to a relationship. It can also be a time when we want to be good, but we're naughty. If you pull this card, no matter when your dark side and your shadow self may be showing, the full moon in Scorpio is also a time of magic. If you're thinking of making some magic, this is your sign to do it. Yes. Stay in the light. And it's not about shadowing them, right? Like, let them shadow themselves. That's what they're doing. See how the light is adjusting naturally? Let them shadow themselves. That's on them. It's not your job to rescue them, save them. You know what I mean? It's on them. So anyway, those are your messages. Pile number 2. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. We love you. We love you. See you next time. All my information is in the description box below. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, I'll give you one more sparkly before I go. Welcome, pile number 3. Well, I am here for you. I love you. Let me tell you something. The other piles had a different lighting. And yours, I went to adjust the lighting and I said, don't touch it. I'm like, okay. So I am feeling like you may be a Cancer, you may be dealing with a Cancer, but the way it started out dark like that, this is all natural light except for that one candle. I said this in my other, piles. I live in the Pacific Northwest. The sun and the sky is doing really cool things today. So I'm just letting spirit work with me with that energy on each pile. And if you were drawn to any other piles, I highly recommend you go to them as well. This is, I didn't realize it was going to go this deep. I guess I should have when I, was called to the Moonology deck. But, right now we are in the reflect and the release energy. So what you need to release is your fear, because that darkness that you guys, when this first started, it was like in a cave. I was like, come out, it's okay. I'm like, you're safe. They're saying it's okay. You stay where you need to stay. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's getting dark again. You stay where you need to stay. No one is judging you. No one, like they're saying right now, also the new moon in Cancer, we just right now, whenever you watch this, it's timeless, of course, but in real time, we just came off the full moon in Cancer. So the fact that this is a new moon in Cancer and we're having all this darkness right now, there's no reason why there shouldn't be any light on there. Also, there's the mail truck just went by. So I feel like spirit has been trying to send you messages, but you're staying in your fear bubble. And they're saying, come out wherever you are, and meet the fine lady who fell from a star. Bum, ba bum, bum, ba bum, bum, ba bum, bum. Boo, 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 boo. And Kansas, she says, is the name of the star. Kansas, she says, is the name of the star. Okay, so when I was putting this reading together, I got this energy from spirit to bring in butterflies. I have a lot of different butterflies now, so I thought we were going to put the butterflies in like one butterfly per pile, right, for you to choose from, but it hasn't been that way. And it's been really interesting, but this one wanted to come in, and I absolutely understand. They're saying also, like the runner, like the mail, I live on a dead end street, so the mail truck just turned around, but what I heard from spirit was that no more running and no more half in, half out. Do you see how the lighting is? They won't let me touch it, but do you see how the lighting is? It's like one side of the butterfly is light and the other side of the butterfly is dark. Yes, you are like the fool. They're showing me like that you are like the fool in the tarot deck. And if you don't know what that means, it's time for you to research it and actually work with the fool in the tarot deck if you have one. If you don't have a deck, don't, and you don't feel the need to get one, don't. It's not, that message isn't for everybody. But if you are, but at least research the fool energy of the tarot, and you just put in Google, fool tarot card meaning. And they're going to have the upright and the reverse. But the one thing about the Fool card, that it doesn't matter what deck you use or whatever, the Fool card, in my interpretation of it, is the energy that floats in between all worlds. That's why it's the zero. It doesn't even have a number. It's not assigned a number because zero is infinity, right? It just goes over and over and over and over. There is no beginning, there is no end. And so for you guys, I'm just feeling this like really powerful. Do you see how the light keeps changing on you and changing? Right before this, I heard, don't let the sun go down on me. And I was like, again, bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I put a lot of information below, so check out the description box, because there was so many things that were coming through before this reading. This Pink song came on, and then that made me cry, and then Girls Just Want to Have Fun came on, that made me dance, and I was feeling laughter and joyful, and the playful fairy energy. And then, I heard Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, and it was the duet with George Michael, who's passed. Rest in power, my beautiful, beautiful brother, sister. I feel like they don't even have like there's no, you know what I mean? But anyway, and I just started to cry because I feel like I knew that energy was for somebody, and that's how I feel like you guys. So I'll put a link below for you to feel free to listen to all the music. But I mean, come on, look at that. They're saying, yes, come out of the cave. Don't let the sun go down on you. Be bright. Relish in the light. But as the sun goes around, right, so does the moon. So we have light and we have dark. And right now I feel like you guys are forgetting that you're the fool. You fly somewhere in between, right? But it's almost as if you're missing something, because if you look at, let me put this over here. Do you see how this is an ornament? I almost threw it away and Spirit told me not to, and now I understand why. But do you see how one side of the ornament has like multiple, like, you know, this is how it was when I first got it. And then over time, this part broke off. So when you look at it, it's almost as if it's incomplete. But Spirit's saying, but does it make someone incomplete if they're going to give you this analogy? Someone decides to get a radical haircut. They decide to shave half their head. Does that make them half beautiful? Because they shaved half their head and the other side of their head has hair on it. They're saying, if you want to, you know, one day shave your head, then do it. This is, to me, I feel like this energy is about standing, you know, like not letting anything break you down. Yeah, so what? So she lost part of her costume, but she still is beautiful, right? It's like if you break a wing on a flying creature, they cannot fly. And Spirit is saying, in this scenario, you are the broken butterfly. It's almost as if, like, I feel like you guys, this is so interesting because I didn't get this before, but I totally feel this now. It's like, yeah, the crab, you know, goes into its shell or whatever, but the butterfly, you guys, I feel like, they're showing me so many different scenarios. So I'm trying to give you the one that feels the best for you in terms of interpretation, right? And I'm going to adjust this a little bit because we're going to pull some more cards. It's as if you guys have always been, it's like you were born a butterfly, then you went into a cocoon, and now you're like trying to come out half caterpillar, half butterfly. Does that make sense? Like, you guys are so powerful. You're really, really powerful. I feel a lot of angel energy because I'm feeling the winged creature. Like, I keep hearing winged creatures. And so I was like, oh, a lot of bird energy, you know, but now I'm like, no, I feel like you guys, I would bank on that you guys are angels. And whatever, like, you come from the angel realm. Some, you know, whether you're healers, you know, I personally believe that healers come from the angel realm. But I think there are different levels of angels, different types of angels. And so I don't want to say that you are one type of angel or another type of angel. But maybe research angels, look at the different tiers of the angels, the archangels, and see if any of that aligns with you. Because I feel like you guys, it almost feels like you guys were like really bubbly, happy creatures, and really everything was great, and you're the ones that were like kind of holding space for everybody else while we've been going through these transitions. And now you guys started to go into your shadow, but it's almost as if you're stuck there like the crab in the shell, like you're stuck in the shadow. And it's because you're flying but almost like limping, right? Because one side of you is heavier. And they're saying that's because you went in and worked with your shadow in the new moon. That's why. But it's confusing some of you guys. And that's why they're kind of covering up the Cancer right now, because it's not even about the Cancer. You may be a Cancer or you may be dealing with a Cancer, but it's really about the new moon, you know. And, you know, they're only assuring you that your loved ones are safe because it's the fear bubbles that you guys are living in that's distracting you from your light, from your fairy, from your butterfly, from your natural healing. Maybe you're allowing certain family members and friends to lean on you way too much. And so I'm hearing from Spirit, like, you can't allow them to do that. You can't allow them to do that. That's why you feel so imbalanced. So new moons are all about clean slate, potential, and dreams. We're going to go to your card. Okay, so those were the channeled messages, and I love the messages in this book. They're channeled so beautifully. So it says, there's a new start coming in your private life.
Something is rising up in connection with the people and places you hold dearest. This can be to do with a member of your family, a flatmate, or moving house. If you're hoping to move forwards with something special in your private life, this card comes to you as a message that you can do it. If you've been neglecting your family, it's time to reconnect with them. If you've been neglecting yourself, you need to take better care of yourself and nurture yourself more. If your insecurity is holding you back, that's something for you to work on now. Doing so could bring you your heart's desire. The attunement to this moon this is the mantra, make sure you put family first. And they're saying, don't forget that family is, sometimes friends are the family that we make for ourselves. So if your biological birth family, your ancestral family, even if you're adopted and your adopted family, you just feel like, you're not aligning with them and things aren't good, then search out your soul family, because that's what I feel like for some of you. That's why you feel so, it's like you're trying to change who you are and to fit in, almost like camouflage, to be loved, to be liked, and I'm just feeling a lot of heavy emotion from that. So the fact that we just came off a full moon in Cancer, and then you chose this pile, which is the new moon in Cancer, I definitely would research the Cancer energy, just so you have a better, so you can, work with that energy right now. So these are the additional meanings for this card. It says, let someone get a bit closer to you. Number 2, a new cycle is starting for your child or children. Interesting. Number 3, it's time to review your goals. Have they changed? Number 4, meditation will help you banish your insecurities. That's always, always, yes, 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 yes. And the last one is spending time near water will bring you peace and answers. So maybe you're even a water sign and you're just channeling, the Cancer, the water from the Cancer energy. So you could be a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. Also, we just entered into the Aquarius season. So you may even want to call on the Aquarius energy to be a little more playful. You can work hard and play hard at the same time, Also, the teaching is the new moon in Cancer can be a super emotional time. The moon is all about emotions, and Cancer is a water sign and also very emotional. Saying that the moon is very happy in the sign of Cancer. Oh, it says saying that the moon is very happy in the sign of Cancer. It's one of her 2 home signs along with Taurus. So whenever you pull it, this card suggests that whatever happens next will be in your favor. It's especially positive for family members. It's also on the page number 49, which is number 13, which is number 4, and it's about balance. Don't let the outside perceptions of you, maybe you may feel unbalanced, or this may be how you're feeling on the inside, or maybe how you feel like you look on the outside, but Spirit's saying it's so much deeper than that. And you guys, Cancers are very deep, they're very emotionally deep, so you may want to channel that energy right now, like they said. Let's see if we have any more messages for this pile. Let's see if we have any more messages. Ooh, Spirit, do we have any more messages for pile number 3? Oh, here we go. Ooh. Your commitment is being tested. Ugh. I know this one sucks. I know it. I understand. I feel it. It sucks. It's the first quarter moon. But you know what's interesting? We just spoke about this in one of the other piles. So if you're drawn to one of the other piles, I highly suggest you go look at it. But they're right now in real time, whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but don't make any big changes until the next first quarter moon. So for us, it's in like 3 weeks, right? Because we just had the full moon in Cancer, and this reading right now is in the waning GIBBOUS. This is all about the reflect and release energy, and then we'll be going into the third quarter moon, then and so on and so on and so on. So your commitment is being tested. It's not like, it's almost like, the vibe I'm getting from this is when it says your commitment is being tested, it's like deep down that they're safe, and that deep down, even if they die, that they're still going to be safe, but you're like feeding into the narrative, and they're saying, and that's why your commitment is being tested, because you're feeding into a narrative that's not only unhealthy for you, but unhealthy for the people around you. And the more you feed into it, the more you feed into their false delusions and lies. I'm getting from Spirit, literally I heard false delusions and lies. It's like you need to find your light, and just say, well, that's what I believe. That's what I believe. That's how I feel. And You know, it says first quarter moon is all about challenges, confidence, and commitment. So right now, you know, I went over these with the other pile, but I'll go over it with you. Like I said, in real time, we're in the reflect and release waning gibbous. Then next is the third quarter moon, transition and forgiveness. Then we go into the waning crescent of the rest and restore energy. Then into the new moon with new beginnings. Also endings, right? We're ending that cycle of that moon and going into a brand new beginning. Then the next one is the waxing crescent, which is setting our intentions. Then the first quarter moon, which is taking action. So work with the moon cycles, get yourself a moon calendar, work with astrology right now, because I feel like that's what's being tested for us from spirit is like, how much are we really, you know, we could talk a big game, I'm spiritual, or yeah, I follow the moons or whatever, but it's like, but are you really though? Are you really? Because I kind of get the vibe that you're feeding the narrative too much. You're feeding into the, I'm going to wear a mask and I'm going to, you know, I hope this doesn't get flagged because I've been using certain words like that. I should be spelling them. But, you know, this isn't about, I just want you to look further into the truth on your own. You know, there's a interview going around right now with Deepak Chopra and Sadhguru, and the second I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, people need to hear this right now, because it's exactly right. It's like, you know, whatever we speak into truth is what's happening. So if we're not feeding the narrative, then it doesn't become true and it's not real. So stop feeding into the narrative. Some people are feeding into it because they like staying in the victim mode. Some people like feeding into the narrative because they don't have to confront things right now. They can blame what's happening on the planet. They can blame sickness, blame, you know, this, blame that, and as you have the right to, because we're all fucking not feeling good, right? Like every single day, unless we're staying in our great, you know, energy with the people that we love, the people that build us up, the people that, you know, not this energy of deflection and, you know, and buying into the narrative. Your commitment is being tested for a reason. So I'm going to go to your card. Hold on. Okay, it says, there could be some challenges coming your way, but they're just the universe's way of testing you. The first quarter moon calls for you to face any hurdles with confidence. What do you actually think is possible? If you believe you can do it, then you probably can. If you spend your life affirming that something is too big for you to surmount, then it probably is. See how that works? Do you believe your dreams will come true? Or have you secretly already given up? Something nice, Freudian slip. Showing some commitment now will help you move towards your desired outcome. What you believe to be true is true for you. So believe in yourself. The attunement to this moon is, I am committed to my dreams and move towards them with confidence. That is your mantra. I haven't been doing this for everybody, but I'm feeling the need to do it for you guys because I feel like you need this right now because your commitment's being tested and you need a little more. You know, some of you need it. So I am committed to my dreams and move towards them with confidence. That's your mantra. That's your attunement to the moon. Write it on a Post-it. Take a screenshot of that, you know, and like keep it on your phone. The additional meanings for this card. The answer to your question is yes, but not yet. Okay, so if you had a question or if you've been something lingering in your meditations and your prayers and you've been asking for a yes or no answer, for some of you, it's yes, but just not yet. You're halfway to your goal is number 2. The third one is you still need to put in a bit more effort, and that's okay. Rest, relax. 2022 is all about self-care, right? Take your time. The next one is sometimes we just need to realize how much we want something. So your commitment's being tested. How bad do you want this thing? How much are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to let go of to allow the new thing to come in, right? The new moon in Cancer is back. What needs to come in? Right? And what energy do you need to utilize to bring it in? And maybe you need to see yourself more like this. We use this in another reading, but maybe you need to see yourself more like this butterfly. And that's how you see yourself in your mind. And that's okay, because that's exactly how we see you then. If that's how you see it, then that's what we see. Do you understand how that goes? So the last one is you need to recommit to someone or something. If you were working on something before and you're like, everything in my fiber of my being tells me I'm supposed to do that, just because it didn't happen before doesn't mean it's not meant to happen now, especially right now. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But if you utilize the Aquarian energy right now, this Aquarius season in 2022 is just chock full of just so much bounty and energy and going inward and spending time with ourselves, you know, crawling out like the second week in February, waiting till until after the first quarter moon, taking action after the first quarter moon, you know. But in that time, what is something that you need to recommit to? Try it again. Just try it one more time. And maybe you'll see it from a different perspective. Maybe you need to do it from a different goal, a different whatever it is. And the teaching is, in the lunar cycle, the first quarter moon comes between the new moon and the full moon. It's a time when the sun and moon are at a hard astrological angle to each other, and this can prompt a small crisis. No matter when you pull this card, you need to see any dramas as a stepping stone to where you want to be. It can also be a time when you need to stay strong through a storm. Yes, butterflies don't fly through a storm, right? They take time to rest. They go inward. They go and stay on trees. I remember one time I saw a whole flock of monarchs in the trees. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. It looked like the trees were breathing. And then I realized what was happening, because they were taking a breather. They were taking a spell. Even butterflies, even hummingbirds. I was meant to say that, so maybe that means something for some of you, are meant to take a breather. Have you ever seen a hummingbird sitting on a branch? Their heart might be going 200 miles an hour, but they're still taking just a moment to rest. Take some time to rest now. I love you guys so much. If you would like to contribute to this channel, all of my information is below. Actually look in the description box anyway, because there's music down there. There's a lot of fun little, as Taylor Swift, my birthday buddy, calls them, Easter eggs. So check them out. Until next then, beautiful souls. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. Bye. Welcome, pile number 4. I'm hoping this is still on one video, but I don't pay attention. So if this did go to another video, thank you for following the breadcrumbs to get to your reading. Otherwise, awesome. And you don't have to do the extra work. Okay. And that wouldn't mean anything either. Or maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, for some of you. Because Spirit's like, well, maybe sometimes. Anyway, so welcome, pile number 4. Have faith in your dreams. For you guys, you're just watching this, but for me in real time, it's an hour and 45 minutes in, and these readings have been intense and beautiful and magical, and the only lighting that I'm using is a candle. The rest of it is natural light. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I've been allowing the light to dance in each reading on the cards, and it's been magical. So it's interesting because not every pile pulled in a butterfly, but I was feeling butterfly energy for you guys, and I just realized that there is actually a butterfly. Let me see if I can get a little closer. Do you see the butterflies in the card? Have faith in your dreams, my beautiful souls. Look at that. Look at the butterfly. I feel like it wants to show you itself. Let's get in there. Here we go. Have faith in your dreams. And the waxing crescent moon is actually the first moon cycle after the new moon. And the key words for it are courage, moving forwards, and faith. So have faith in your dreams. Today in real time, we are working with the reflect and release energy in the waning GIBBOUS moon cycle. So having faith in your dreams, reflect on it. What have you wanted to do since you were 8 years old? What have you always loved? It doesn't matter what it is. There's always a way that you can still make that into a career or a path that is for you, that has been aligned in the stars for you. If you have something, it doesn't matter how old you are, but if it's something that's been gnawing at you forever, that's what you're meant to do. Like, you're the first pile that I feel like Spirit is saying, yes, whatever that is your purpose, and have faith in your dreams. Just like the butterfly, the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it has to have faith that it's going to come out as a butterfly, right? Have you ever seen a cocoon that you can tell that was never broken out of, but it's old, and you're like, what happened? You're like, something happened. Something happened in the pupa stage. They died, or maybe they tried pulling themselves out, but they didn't have enough strength, and they died because they lost faith in their dreams. They lost faith that they were going to become this, cute little caterpillar, right? And then turn into this sparkly butterfly. That's their dream, right? But maybe they just didn't have the strength. Maybe their wings weren't strong enough. maybe like this one, where the wings are a little more transparent, right? Where the wings are a little more transparent. This one wanted to come in. And when you look at those wings, they seem more fragile, right? Or like this butterfly that came into one of the other readings, right? It's made out of maybe cardboard, or I don't know. It was an old Christmas ornament, right? But it's a little thicker. So they made it out. But I feel like for you guys, this fragile butterfly wants to be here because they want to show you, you know, that it doesn't matter. You may not be as strong or as